Hi, I'm Torte de Lini. Since release, Monkey King was most known as a position 1 carry. He was a melee hero with the longest range attack, 300, compared to the standard 150, and it meant his laning stage would be fairly strong against a lot of offlaners like Timbersaw, Aghs, and Underlord. Typically, these offlaners would be too tanky for most safe laners, but more importantly, that safe laners could not get close to them without getting nuked down by these types of position 3 heroes. But with that extra range, Monkey King stands from afar to avoid, let's say, Timbersaw's Whirling Death or Axe's Berserker's Call reach, yet can hit them regularly to harass them out of the lane. However, nowadays we see Monkey King more as a mid laner. On and off throughout the year, pro players have dabbled with him as a position 4 and sometimes as a position 2, but it's only these past few months that we're seeing the position 2 version of Monkey King as the standard way to play him. The reason is both because the meta, his carry potential in the mid to late game, but also taking influence from what made him such a valued position 4 support hero in the offlane. So let's break it down. For starters, to understand why Monkey King is more of a mid laner, let's first explain why Monkey King is no longer played as a hard carry. And the truth of the matter is, if you were to go to standard Battle Fury build, which has fallen out of favor in recent times, you'll see that Monkey King comes online much later than other position 1 heroes like Alchemist, Morphling, or even Spectre, while also being much more passive. Technically, he still works as a safe laner, but he builds more mid-game proactive items that are similar to the mid-lane version, with the only difference that you grow in levels much more slowly since you're sharing the lane with a support hero, thus you start ganking later. So in essence, Monkey King as a mid laner is similar to heroes like Riki, Phantom Lancer, or Tiny, where they rely on an early game item like Diffusal Blade or Blink Dagger to farm hero kills. Those heroes then convert that gold earned from kills to get a jump on larger items that help them reach their late game carry potential. Monkey King is no different, but with two additional key points. Number one, as mentioned, he's still a strong laner. While Monkey King is a great counter against tanky melee offlaners, he's also great in the mid lane against a lot of fragile pause 2 heroes like Puck, Tiny, and Ember Spirit. Monkey King does a fantastic job of bullying them out of the lane while proccing Jingu Mastery, giving him sustain and damage to secure last hits in the lane and continued harassment. Number 2, Monkey King comes with maneuverability through his ability Tree Dance and Primal Spring. This makes him an incredible ganker, and with the facet Simian Stride, you are moving across the map quickly since it gives your Tree Dance ability no cooldown. Simian Stride can also be used to secure runes swiftly. Early levels from the mid game, comfort in the lane to secure gold for your first major item with an inherent skill to rotate the map means Monkey King becomes a really strong playmaker similar to your Queen of Pains, your Storm Spirits, or even Earthshaker. What's more is that Monkey King actually has decent armor, especially when you pick up a Wraith Band, about 9 armor by level 3. Don't forget that in 7.36, the developers also gave Monkey King's Boundless Strike guaranteed bonus physical damage, meaning secure range creeps for the hero is much more comfortable. With the meta leaning towards mids like Storm Spirit, Invoker, or Lina, heroes that can win their lane and rotate to influence other lanes, Monkey King definitely fits those traits, and he synergizes with other heroes in this meta that want to follow up with his ganking initiation. For example, heroes like Nyx Assassin, Bounty Hunter, or Dawnbreaker with their Solar Guardian ultimate ability. He still plays really well with classic combos like Magnus with the increased damage buff from his Empower, as well as his Reverse Polarity for Monkey King to then follow up with Wukong's Command. Ogre Magi, Lich, both classic supports to give Monkey King further protection through Frost Shield or the Aghs Shard on Ogre Magi to give Fire Shield, Solar Crest for the Shine buff, as well as both support heroes have Slows, Ignite, and Frost Shield again. Playing Monkey King as a mid requires a slightly different build to what you were doing before as a pause 1. For starters, you only need 1 point in Primal Spring because you are mostly relying on it to initiate on enemies and maneuver the map with Tree Dance. Since there aren't many trees in the mid lane, you typically only pick this up around level 6 and max out Jingu Mastery, then Boundless Strike for maximum damage and crits. In terms of item build, Monkey King's early game is both Wraith Band and Orb of Corrosion, giving him a bit more armor, attack speed, but also a strong slow to snag an enemy to ensure Monkey King can proc his Jingu Mastery when closing the gap on an opponent with Primal Spring. MK's core items diverge into 2 choices. Diffusal Blade can be commonly picked up because it works with your Wukong's Command soldier, but it also provides an additional slow and mana burn to keep enemies from being able to escape. Alternatively, Maelstrom into Mjolnir or Gleipnir can be great as it also works with Wukong Command's soldiers, but can also help with farming if you know the match will go into the late game. The Mjolnir means you are getting Jingu Mastery fast, while also dishing that damage back out with your attack speed, while Gleipnir means you can entrap enemies from a tree to then cast Wukong's Command or vice versa, Wukong's into Gleipnir, and Monkey King's late game flexibility is kind of the other half of what makes Monkey King so fitting in any lineup. Regardless of which item you go, you must pick up Aghs Shard at 15 minutes for the hero. Aghs Shard reads, Boundless Strike applies Primal Spring with 60% of the max channeling duration power to enemies along the staff and at the end of the staff. When Boundless Strike is set to alt cast, Monkey King leaps to the end of his staff. Now the most important thing to understand here is about the Aghs Shard in increasing your Boundless Strike damage to also include 60% of maximum damage from Primal Spring, so another 380 on top of the crits. Also, it slows for another 3 seconds even after Boundless Strike stuns your targets. This gives Monkey King a massive spike in additional ganking power that you can even cast without showing by staying in the trees. What's more is that if you take the level 10 talent, increased Primal Spring max damage, you are able to clear creep waves instantly, hastening your farm massively. All of this was already part of his Aghs Shard before, but in 7.36b, it did not require Monkey King having to commit to the elite portion of the ability. You can just cast the Boundless Strike regardless if you want to follow through with the attacks. The importance of Black King Bar is self-evident. It gives Monkey King magic resistance and debuff immunity, so when he jumps into a fight, he can do so without being interrupted. While casting Wukong's command, Monkey King can also activate Black King Bar, give him strong magic resistance, as well as the armor he gains when using his ultimate ability, on top of the lifesteal he will get when Jingu Mastery pops. Lastly, in terms of talents, I already mentioned the importance of Simian Stride Facet for Monkey King to be able to maneuver around the map for mid-game ganks, and in terms of his talents, level 10 and level 15 are up to you. At level 10, the most commonly picked up one is the Boundless Strike Stun, which is a no-brainer as having a longer stun on your Boundless Strike ability is nice. However, pro players are also opting for the Primal Spring max damage or that creep wave I mentioned earlier. The level 15 talent follows through with your level 10 pick, either more damage with Jingu Mastery or additional range on Tree Dance, which helps maneuver the map even better. Regardless of what you choose, your level 20 and 25 talents will always be the same. Additional crit damage from your Boundless Strike at level 20, and additional Wukong's Command Ring for better zoning late game when you need to siege, and it just provides you with more control in fights at level 25. So in summary, Monkey King Pause 2 has always been an option for Monkey King since its release. It's only in this patch has it grown to a standard acceptance of use where Monkey King as a Pause 1 is just too slow with the Battle Fury build, and opting him as a Pause 4 is outclassed by better early game gankers like Nyx Assassin and Bounty Hunter. The mid lane version of Monkey King is the best of both worlds. When drafted right, he wins his lane comfortably while also having the mobility with his Simian Stride Facet to regularly rotate and gank the side lanes with ease. Towards the late game, his carry potential is enabled by his diverse choice of itemization, from Eye of Skadi or Abyssal Blade for more crowd control and survivability, to Daedalus or Butterfly for more damage output, and then Refresher Orb for double the Black King Bar and Wukong's command. The hero is great in the right hands in a meta that leans towards ganks and momentum to secure your team's win. Alrighty, well, that's pretty much it for me. Let me know what you think about Monkey King and how your games have been going. Don't forget, if you like these videos or my Dota 2 guides, please, you gotta support the channel either by clicking join on this video to become a paying member, or you can subscribe to me on Twitch. You can even subscribe to me on Twitch for free if you have Amazon Prime. Your support keeps the guides and this educational channel going, and I'd really appreciate the help. Thanks.